Umar Junagadala, who is a director of Tropix Apparels and V.R gifts and souvenirs. His story is one of triumph against the odds. Mr. Ram, as he's affectionately called in Western Jamaica, hails originally from Chennai in southern India. But as you'll find out, his story is about a man who is eternally grateful to his adopted country.
I've been here, 24 years? I came to Jamaica because I wanted to do something better in my life. And in 1990s, things were very, very bad in India. We were not exposed, we were not open to other countries. So that's the reason, one of the reasons I came down here to do something better in my life.
He said he came to this country not knowing anyone and landed a job in a store owned by another Indian expatriate. It's there, he said, he learned business and formed connections, which convinced him to branch off on his own in 2000, 10 years after arriving in Jamaica. But unlike many local businessmen who moan over business conditions, Mr. Ram says what he saw gave him enough encouragement to start.
It's not that tough. India is much more tougher to succeed than here. It's much more competitive, and for sure it's not that hard. It was a challenge, but there is always hope. And I'm not going back to India just as a failed person. So I said, you know what, let me try something here, and it's been successful for me.
He said he first started selling craft items, and it was while doing that he realized that there were opportunities in producing various garments, particularly for hotels and other corporate clients.
We did our groundwork. We found that we cannot compete on the lower end of the items, but on specific certain items, we have a better chance of succeeding. And that's one of the reasons we went into only those products, not fighting against Far East. We cannot fight prices on Far East products.
Still, Mr. Ram says despite the opportunity and his positive outlook, he had one major hurdle in setting up his business: financing. He said banks reviewing his case made promises to finance, but turned on the promise.
They want collateral securities. Even if you give them the securities, it takes too much of a time for them to process the loans. We had a very bad experience with the banks. When we started V.R gifts, I spent a lot of money doing the project reports and all, then they backed out. The same thing happened for Tropix. They said yes, we approached them, but it took too many months, and in the end, nothing came out of it. So we said we were not going to the banks no more. We went to private financing.
Mr. Ram said this business has been a learning curve for him. His polo shirts, caps, swimwear, linens, housekeeping uniforms, and caps have found a niche market which he says warms his heart. He reads a list of clients of who is who in the tourism and corporate sector. But he said his expansion is stymied by one issue: finding suitable people to employ.
We have 30 seats available for sewing, and we cannot find people with the expertise of sewing in Montego Bay. And right now we have almost like 15 people, and we have 15 slots empty. We are not able to find people who can sew. We can find people who can do only a part of the sewing, but not the whole garment by itself. That's the biggest challenge we have. We don't have people in this side of Jamaica to sew.
He says the problem is because the people who worked in the island's once booming garment sector are near retirement or used to just sewing one part of the garment and are not skilled to work in his company. And that's the Business Review. I'm Milton Walker.